Welcome to our Subaru Certified Paid Search Program webinar. Cody and I are the two presenters. Cody is unfortunately sick today, so you'll just be hearing from me. Our contact info is on the screen. I will also show this at the end, so if you guys need any additional information, have questions, feel free to reach out after the webinar. We are currently setting up demos for store-specific presentations, so feel free to reach out again at any time. We're always available and we can set that up so we can go over some strategies for your specific store. This presentation is going to be a little generic on specific recommendations store by store, because as you guys know, every store has different needs. So I want to make sure that you guys get exact presentations for what you're looking for. Again, I'll show this at the end. You don't have to take it down now. I'll also be emailing out our contact info to you guys as well. So for those of you that haven't worked with us before, underneath our Force Marketing umbrella, we have 3 brands. One of them is Variable Ops, that's the Force Marketing side of it, Managed Services. WeDrive is our personalized marketing, and GSM is our Fixed Ops and Loyalty. You will see some products from each one of our brands as we go through what's available on the certified program. So I'll be pointing out what each one of those do moving forward. The first part is audience first and CDP integration. The reason why we do this part first is all of our campaigns are based off of store needs, right? Creating audiences that match your goals. That way you guys are running efficient budgets, you're sending messages to the right people at the right time. As we go through this, you'll see a lot of our recommendations are going to be based off of data specific to your store, which is why the specific dealership presentations after are super important. Data collection. So we have our own CDP at Force. Audience IQ is the tech that houses it. All of our data providers, third party, are linked into this, as well as dealership DMS data. The reason we do that is we want you guys to have both a mix of conquest and retention data in all of your campaigns. We can also access DMS through any of the DMS providers as well. Audiences. This is what we were talking about, right? When we're creating audiences in the store, we want to see all of the data so we can hit your specific goals. You know, trade cycle, expiring lease, high APR, service to sales, which is going to be a big one as we move into less units in operation. You guys are really going to need to hone in on who's in your store for service to kind of convert them to those sales customers. Recovery, again, sales to service in the reverse. Some retargeting audiences, and third party, right? Matching, you're going to have to pull in some conquest audiences, whether that's high APR, import owners, special finance, expiring lease, domestic, highline, whoever we're pulling for. All of that data is housed in Audience IQ. So you guys and the Force management team can see what the opportunities are on a store-by-store basis based on the data. Channel and publisher activation. We really don't care where the budget is split throughout Google, streaming audio, trade desk. It's basically where the audiences are. We have all of the publisher activations available, but again, setting specific budgets by publisher is all based on the opportunity, which we get from the data in the store's goals. Demand generation versus demand capture. There are 2 very different sides of marketing, the demand generation and demand capture. Demand generation is creating the demand where it doesn't already exist. And again, as we go into years where you guys are going to have decent inventory and at sometimes high inventory levels, you're going to have to create the demand because it's not all there to capture. And I'll go through exactly what products relate to demand generation and demand capture. But we're going to start with our toolbox. So you can see we have each product broken out by sales, demand capture, which is your paid search, your vehicle listing ads, SEO, vehicle listings, and recapture. The reason these are demand capture is someone is having to search for those terms, right? They're already in market for those terms. They're typing in specific keywords, and we're capturing that demand for your store. Some of the stores have a demand generation problem. There isn't enough people searching keywords, so we have to then create that demand. And the ways that we do that are dynamic video, streaming audio and OTT, some paid social, performance max, online video, and display and retargeting. Fixed ops in service, again, service drive, service display and retargeting, paid search, and paid social are the ways that we get some of those fixed ops leads in the store. Demand capture. This would be a dealer who needs help converting more website traffic, whether that's gaining more internet leads and ultimately selling more cars, right? You need eyes on your inventory to sell them, which means you probably need more quality traffic to your website. Our bid management technology. So this is used throughout all of our services, but specifically in paid search. What you're seeing on the screen right now is an example of one of our stores in Chicago. What we did was we imported not only their first party data, but third party data into Audience IQ, and it then gives us a graph on where the opportunity is by zip code. This is a super important strategy because, as you guys know, especially in a lot of your zip codes, not every zip is the same. Each one has higher opportunity, whether that's because there's higher units in operation, whether that's because there's higher search demands there. Not each zip code should be treated the same and get the same bid. Two things to this. We have a very good bid management technology, but it also has high account management involvement by a human. The tech can only match. The tech doesn't know where you're losing market share, what your turn rate is. They don't know how many days on lot you've had certain vehicles for, right? The account manager needs to be able to pull the levers that the tech is suggesting. So it's a mixture of both. Real-time reporting is in our Audience IQ platform. You guys can see up to the minute what the spends are, what your cost per lead is, how many leads you've had, what your impression share is. All of that lives within Audience IQ. And all of the ads are optimized based on data, right? It's not we think this, it's the data says this. This allows you to have lower cost per leads and ultimately get the traffic to your website that is going to create the result for the goal that we, have in your strategy, whether it's sell more new cars, whether it's sell more sedans, whether it's sell more, I need to sell more Outbacks. Okay, then we need to focus where the Outback opportunity is. Paid search. Paid search is super important and needs, again, data behind it. You can't just overlay a paid search strategy. We all use the micro moment strategy, but how are we implementing that? A lot of that's going to be the bid management strategy, but also ad copy being specific based on the keywords, using a lot of exact match and phrase match, not just running broad match terms, right? All of this is super important and a part of our paid search strategy. The expected results on this, and what we did was we put together a bunch of Subaru stores that we've had for years from when we took them over to where they were within their first 30 to 60 days. Lowered their CPC, we increased their click-through rate to 10% or higher. A lot of those you'll see much higher than the 10% benchmark. And then again, we focus on actual leads that create dealership results. That's going to be form fills, phone calls, and completed chats. And our goal is to always have the cost per lead $50 or below. You will see that a lot lower as the campaign's optimized. The reason I focus on actual leads is we're not weighting VDP views as a lead, right? Someone viewing a VDP isn't giving you the opportunity to have a conversation. They're just viewing your inventory. While that's important, if I come to you and say your cost per lead is $25, we don't want that to include just views on your website. It needs to be an actual action to where it creates a conversation for the store. Dynamic inventory ads. These are also going to be important as inventory allocation comes and goes. We want to make sure that we are delivering relevant ads based on the search inquiry. What the tech does is it allows the ad copy, the ads, everything to be optimized based on what that search term is in real time. We also want automatic updates based on inventory availability. We can set these in our system as well. Do you have less than 3? Okay, maybe that should trigger a pre-order ad at that point. Do you have more than 5? We need to focus on that model. There's a lot of things that we can implement in the dynamic inventory ads to ensure that the goals of the store are being met. These dynamic inventory ads have higher click-through rates and again, higher quality leads, which means lower cost per lead and more leads to the stores to affect sales or service. Vehicle listing ads. These are really important as well. A lot of consumers have been getting used to this through other retails, like clothing and things like that. They have very high engagement, and it is a way for you to control your vehicle listings instead of having to list in a third party, right? A lot of stores can't afford to spend $10,000 in the third parties, and they need to own their ads themselves. Vehicle listing ads have opened that up. You can serve these along paid text ads for search queries like make and model, year plus trim. We can get very specific in the models and the ads that we're showing. Multilingual, for markets who need multilingual, whether that's paid search or another language, we also offer those campaigns as well. These you can expect similar results to our other paid search. Click-through rates 10% or above, and CPCs lower than $5. Vehicle listings. This is previously called cars for sale. We've seen a lot of consumers use this. It's actually a listing site within Google. So when you go into the normal Google search, you can click cars and it lists all the cars for sale within the zip code parameters that are set. It's kind of a digital storefront that's not your website, but within Google, which a lot of consumers are starting to use. This is a very inexpensive way, once we show you the pricing, to add your vehicle listings to Google, which is, again, being highly used by consumers. Enterprise SEO. SEO is very important, and a lot of companies don't marry their SEO strategy to their paid search strategy, right? They keep them very siloed. We do ours a little differently. Are you showing up organically first, but there's no paid ad? Perfect, right? But a lot of stores will see them show up first in paid search, but then there's no other competitor ads, and then there's their first in the organic listing. That means you could have gotten the click for free, but you're paying for it when you don't have to, because you're running paid search ads for certain terms that don't have competition when you could just show up first organically at the top of the page. This is something that's very important. It's a lot of things that when website providers and people like that run your SEO, they're not as ingrained in the business, so they're not making optimizations. When you see your paid search provider run SEO, it's a very good way to have efficient budgets and also have better results. With our SEO program, we also build content pages, whether that's service pages, CPO pages, new car pages. What our team does is they go through your website and they'll say, based on our digital audit, we think you need to build XYZ pages over the next 90 days. You get 3 per month, and it's based on the strategy, right? Every store needs something different. So we want to make sure that it's tailored to your needs. When you complement your paid efforts with SEO, there's a lot of retargeting efforts. It's boosting your quality score. You're expanding your audience data. As we move into CDPs, you're going to want to have all that data, and you can also save money on overlapping keywords. The expected results from start to the 30-60 day mark in 90 days is 5 to 15% increase in organic traffic. As you guys have more inventory and the market gets back being very competitive, you are going to need to rely on your SEO, your organic traffic, so you don't have to spend so much in paid. It is going to be super important that both of those strategies are married together. Recapture. So as we're talking about paid search, as you know, you guys are paying a ton of money in paid search to send traffic to your website. On average, around, I would say, website conversion percentages at max are 10%, on average 2 to 4. Well, what happens when that person goes to your website off a paid search ad and then they leave, right? They're wasted budget. You don't know who they are. They didn't submit a lead. They might have viewed inventory, but then they leave, right? So you're spending tons of money to get this traffic to your website, and then it's lost. What Recapture does is it ensures your digital traffic, essentially, that's going to your site. When someone comes to the website and leaves and doesn't submit a lead by phone call, form fill, or chat, Recapture tries to get them back to the website with a specific offer, right? To then submit a lead and claim the offer. It is 100% cookieless. It's pixel based, so when cookies are gone, it doesn't mean that this program doesn't work. It's because it's not based on cookies. There's personalization in the remarketing. We can tell what the person viewed on your website, and it also appends the data back. So it'll say, you know, this person who went to the website, here's their name, here's their age, here's their, you know, marital status, average income, inferred credit score, email, phone number, mobile, and address. You get a customer profile of the person that went to your website and didn't submit a lead. We can do a few things with that, right? We can send them targeted ads. We now know, you know, based on a few of their qualifications, what kind of message they're looking for. So they'll receive communication from a bunch of different sources, and come back to your site, and they will be the only ones who see the offer, right? It's not adding an overlay to your site that everyone sees. It is a specific offer to this customer. Once they claim the voucher, there's a few options to whether that lead goes to the CRM, or our team can try to book the appointment and then send the lead to your CRM once the appointment's booked. Dealers can expect a 20% lift in website conversions on minimum. That's our average lift in website conversions. You can do the back end math for that on what it'll help you do increasing sales and service ROs based on that. This is our demand capture pricing. I'll go through demand generation in a second and give you guys that pricing as well. Paid search, 15% commission, no management fees, it's straight commission based. And then you can see enterprise SEO, the vehicle listings are $95, very efficient way to spend some budget and get some eyes on that inventory. And then you can see the recapture packages as well. We will also send this out after to everyone that's on the webinar, so you guys can have this for your records. And then if you guys want us to build a specific strategy for you, we'll have that pricing included as well. Demand generation. This is when there isn't enough demand to capture, but you need to gain market share, you need to increase turn rate. Again, generating demand, reaching new customers. As units in operation fell off because of inventory struggles, you guys are going to have to take more conquest customers than you did previously. You're going to have to generate the demand because it's not always going to be there to capture. One of the ways is our Drive video product. What Drive does is, and it can be served, which I'll get through in a second, on multiple platforms, but it has a why buy video that links your inventory based on what the audience is in market for, or if they're not in market, but they're pre-market, which means they have equity in their current Subaru, or, you know, we've seen them, they're a non-loyal Subaru customer. They might've owned a Subaru a couple vehicles ago, but we can actually ramp all of those lists into any network, whether that's CTV, OTT, programmatic networks, and to ensure that those people are served ads that are relevant to them. The video has 3 functions. There's a why buy. On the right, it pulls in inventory up to 5 bins based on what they're in market for. That means if someone's in market for a cross check, they'll see up to 5 cross checks directly from your website. The pricing and images are from your website. We can also filter out if the car on your website doesn't have an image, we can filter those out so they're not shown. There's a bunch of different ways we can do this. We can filter, hey, I'm a store that has a days on lot problem. We can actually serve the units that have been there the longest first within this ad. And then at the bottom, any OEM logos for compliance. If there's an event, let's say in December, share the love, we can add all of those logos to this bottom function without having to change the shell of the video. Data providers on this, Oracle, IHS, TrueOptic, we can ramp your first party data into there as well to ensure you're staying in front of your trade cycle audiences. Expected results. For our Drive video, we actually report on dealership arrivals. So you'll get all the metrics like completed views and all of that, but then we can see, did someone view the ad and then show up at the dealership? Super important metric, right? We don't want to just say you had a ton of these views, but no dealership results. We want to ensure that these campaigns are creating appointments for your dealership. YouTube, the stats on that one are 51% view through rate on average and a 4% completed view. A very efficient way and cost-effective way to reach consumers with your message, and a combined 50% more efficient CPM. Again, this can be for new, CPO, you can do it for service. It'll pull through the service offers. A ton of options. These are some results that we've had for our current Subaru clients on this product. Midwest Subaru dealer, $22 cost per visit. A lot of stores have a higher cost per lead than $22. This is literally what it costs to get someone in your store, and a lot of times is much lower than your average cost per lead for your other products. Southwest Subaru dealer, $25 cost per visit. There's a ton of good ROI with this product. Streaming audio. Everything we can do with OTT, we can do with streaming audio. You can match audiences. You can use pre-market and in-market. It's across all publishers. So we're not just agnostic to Pandora, right? Because what if your Subaru audience is spread across Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Pandora? We don't want to leave out the other two. It's based on where the audience is. So for example, Cody and I are both in the Crosstrek audience I talked about earlier, but I listen to Spotify and Cody is on SoundCloud. He will hear the ad on SoundCloud and I will hear it on Spotify, but you're not serving all of SoundCloud the ad, because at any point 98% of those people are not in market or pre-market for a model. So that amount of the budget is wasted when you go directly and say, I want all of iHeart. You're essentially serving ads to people who don't need them and won't cause a dealership result. Dynamic AIA, super important on Facebook to run VIN specific. We see the dynamic ads perform great, like much greater than the static ads. Now for static, if you have a new model coming out and it's not available with an inventory feed and we want to run a test drive ad, we have those abilities as well. But we do see these dynamic AIA ads perform at a much higher rate than the static. Expected results on these: cost per lead of $30 or lower, traffic click-through rate between 2 and 5%, depending on what the content is. Again, very high rates for Facebook. Facebook is still a good place to serve ads within a budget that makes sense, right? When, again, back to the audiences, when we're creating Facebook budgets, we're not saying, hey, we think you should spend $2,000 on Facebook and you're kind of questioning why. What we're doing is saying, here's our audience, 5% of them use Facebook, that equates to X budget. That's why we recommend this budget be on Facebook for the dynamic AIA ads. Custom ads, again, this is what I mentioned before. If you have specific test drive events, OEM events that you guys want to run, that somebody just wants to submit a lead right away, we can run custom ads for anything. We can also run custom ads for service based on what the needs of the store are. You'll see these be a little more expensive than the AIAs as cost per lead, and you will see the click-through rates be a little lower. Now they're still strong, they're just a little lower than the dynamic AIA. Online video. This is super important to have as a part of your strategy. 80% of auto shoppers are exposed to a YouTube ad. A lot of them use this. We think this is super important for a lot of things. New models, where they're researching the model, when they're comparing models, and since you're going to have to be doing some conquest moving forward, we want to show them, you know, why your models are better than whatever competitors we deem are your brands in that market. We can do in-market audiences by OEM, model segment, ownership. We can ramp in your DMS match list. So what we can do is say, okay, this store, we want to make sure that their retention, you know, stays above X%. Okay, they need to ramp in their DMS to ensure we're staying in front of their customers for retention. Retargeting, users who visit the website and left, and affinity, users who visit specific other sites. So did they view competitor sites? Did they view OEM sites? You know, we want to make sure that you have affinity audiences in there as well. And the goal metric around this is going to be view through rate, which we mentioned before was around 51% on average. In-market display ads. Display is very important on the retargeting and in-market display ad portion. The audiences we have for this are very similar to the previous. In-market, ramped in, we can actually ramp in your DMS to this. If you're running any outside emails or CRM lists, we can also ramp those into the campaigns and show them display ads. We want to make sure that you guys are staying in front of consumers because it is going to get very competitive. We also have multilingual campaigns for this as well. Demand generation pricing. This is, again, 15% on media across the board. The paid media is 20%. That includes all the creative, all the audiences, everything. There's no set management fee. It's just all the commission priced. And then tech. Audience IQ is the DMS integration, all of the data. Also, you guys have full access to it. All results are in there. Our ROI is in there as well. Drive, service drive. We also included video and audio production. We know a lot of you guys don't have the ability to create your own videos, your own audio. We want to make sure that we provide that to you. That is also on program at the pricing that's listed. And then web banners and specials creative. If you're looking for someone to do that outside of the website provider, we have that capability and we can get them turned around quickly. Fixed ops, very similar. I'm gonna skip through a little of this. And if one of your stores has a huge fixed ops need, now fixed ops needs are different, right? You could say my service bays are full for the next 2 months, but my question to you would be, are they full with the right customers? Do you have a ton of oil change that isn't gonna make the store money, or are you bringing in those win back years that you make the most money off of? We wanna make sure that while you might be booked out for 2 months, we wanna make sure that you're booking service for what will benefit the store profit-wise, right? I always just consider whenever you implement your service marketing, am I full with the right customers that benefit the dealership? We can link the service coupons or service offers from your website. It pulls in very similar to the inventory. Obviously, the shell of the video should be a why buy on your service creative. You know, do you get people turned around quickly? Do you have specific winterizing in certain markets? Whatever your why buys are would be that shell video. And then as the offers change monthly, quarterly, they'll be edited on the website, which means we can pull them through into the ads. We can also include audiences for you guys, right? Lost and inactive. I mentioned those win backs. Those are super important, and people that the OEM isn't touching with the current Subaru service program. So we want to make sure that you guys are ramping in those lost lists, which we consider win backs, at certain whatever months we deem the store deems a win back. We can do conquest, purchase-based, owners who frequented independent service locations. So are there these service owners who are servicing at Jiffy Lube or other maintenance big box independent service locations that we want to pull into the store, right? They don't know that they can get as good a service at the same price as they could at a big box. They're just uneducated. We want to make sure those audiences are incorporated as well. Get through display and retargeting, very similar to the sales. Have these people engaged in service sites that we want to include. Those are the affinity audiences. Are they in market for service? Are they typing in keywords within Google that we want to then follow them with a display ad? Do we need to ramp in our DMS? Do we need to ramp in DMS sales to service lists, right? They bought from you but have never serviced. We want those people to start seeing your ads. It's super important. And then retargeting, visitors who visited service pages on your website and left and didn't convert to a lead. We want to make sure our ads are following them as well. Paid search, again, all the keywords are super important. When we go through the goals of your dealership, we will want to incorporate customer pay, paid search service terms, right? Everybody can have oil change keywords, but we want to make sure that we are evolving that into where the dealership sees the opportunity is for their store, whether that's transmissions, engines, tires, places where the dealership will make money. We want to make sure that those keywords are reflected in the paid search strategy. Expected results for this, same as sales, a little less than a $5 cost per click. We want you to attain leads via the service appointment scheduler, phone calls around a $50 or less CPL. Now, when we give you these expected results, they're on the conservative side. We don't want to, overpromise and underdeliver, but we do see most stores have lower CPLs and lower CPCs than what's listed. Paid social, very similar. Somebody can go in, claim an offer through the Facebook ad. We can run lead ads where that goes directly to the CRM. A lot of dealers see success in the Facebook ad linking to the service appointment scheduler. Whatever works best for the store is what we implement. And there is some good service opportunity within Facebook. Attribution, audience IQ. it's a full customer journey attribution. Not only does it give you guys all the reporting and available audiences, it tells us where the customers are in their journey. Are they a trade cycle? Are they a service customer at this point? Did they miss their first service appointment? Did they buy from us and now they have equity? We want to make sure that all of that data is available to you guys through Audience IQ. We also want to make sure that our teams see that data as well, so they can help you guys with strategy in real time and say, hey, we see that you have this huge service to sales audience, people who have serviced with you multiple times but never bought, that have model years that most likely have equity in their car, right? We want to make sure that you're running campaigns to that. You can activate tons of audiences at the same time, and each of them will get a different ad based on where they're at in their journey. Performance management teams, this is something that's really important to us. And we're almost done. I know we went a little over, but we're almost at the end here, so bear with me. Performance management, 24 access to real-time reporting, but you're not expected to log in every day and see your reporting. The account manager and their communication, they will continuously be recommending strategy optimizations based on their conversations with you on what the store's goals are, right? Do we have a turn rate problem on certain models that we need to fix to improve your allocation and what you're getting from the OEM moving forward, right? That means specific strategies need to be implemented in real time. We don't want to wait 30 days, say, here's your reporting, and then that's it. We want to make sure that you guys and your dedicated account management team are in real-time communications on what's going on at the store. Each team gets a client success manager. They are overseeing the performance and monitoring the overall strategy. They are your main point of contact. They're what I call the QB, right? They're gonna make sure all the plays are implemented, the team is operating correctly, they're gonna execute things for you based on what's going on at the store level. The client success coordinator is, I'd say, like the running back, right? You gotta hand the ball off to someone to ensure that there is more daily communication for speed, awareness, and action. We wanna make sure that the internal teams, if you have a call with your client success manager on goals and what's going on, you guys are reviewing your OEM reports, we want to make sure that the client success coordinator is overseeing all of our internal teams like paid search and Facebook to make sure all of the strategies are implemented to get you to your goal. Each team also has digital performance specialists. They manage the campaigns daily for optimization and opportunity in real time. They're giving the client success manager and the client success coordinator data. They're transferring conversations back and forth. They'll say, we recommend this. The client success manager will say, actually, for market share, can you recommend XYZ? So you guys will be getting all of those conversations in real time. And your client success manager is heavily invested in not just your results, but your overall business. We really appreciate you guys joining. I know it's the middle of the day and a super busy time of the year. Again, we will email this out to everybody that is on the call. And I will also send out our contact information so you guys can reach out to us. We are happy to put together specific calls where we can kind of go through what your goals are and put together what our recommendations would be on a store-by-store basis. Again, everybody has different pain points. Everybody has different needs. We want to make sure that we're not saying, just because you're a Subaru customer, you should do XYZ. We want to actually have a conversation about your business and then put together specific recommendations, and it can be turned around within 48 hours. So super quick to get you guys what you're looking for as far as what we recommend strategy-wise. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate the time, and I will be getting all this information to you shortly.